So we have played 10 seasons of this Pogon save, and this is where my time in charge of the club will stop, and we will just leave the club and leave it in the capable hands of somebody else. I don't know. Will it be one of our staff? Let's have a look to see what staff members we've got that could take over. Will it be Ian Robin, who I believe is our under-18s assistant manager? Will it be Dennis Bergkamp? Will it be Nicholas Fulkrug? It will probably be this guy, because he's been here since the start of the save, and he's not terrible. Bergkamp, arguably, is the better assistant manager, so if anyone's taken it, I'd want it to be Bergkamp. But we are going to jump forward into the future. I'm not quite sure how far yet. I think 5 seasons, just to see how well people have got on. We're obviously not going to call out any players that have come through the youth intake in season 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15, or however many seasons we go forward, but we will take a look at every single player who has a star next to their name and see how well they've got on. So just in case you were interested, it was Nuno Espirito Santo who took over after we left. Gazimba then got the caretaker role. Then Sebastian Hones, might be his name, took over. Then Nicholas Fulkrug, and then Ole Werner is the current manager. So there you go, that's what's gone on when it comes to managers of Pogon. Now let's take a look at players who have left, and well, come through our youth intakes and left. We have 46 players to talk about. 46 players were starred over the course of 10 seasons, which is about 4.6, I say about, 4 to 5 per season that we have starred. And we're sorting by world reputation, so we're starting with the least reputable players all the way up to the most reputable players in the world. Kamil Gadja is the least reputable player. He's still at Pogon, he's a goalkeeper, he's only 21. He's alright, he's not terrible, is he? I imagine a lot of these players as well, I'm not going to expect to be any good until we get halfway up this list. So Lenkowitz, currently playing for Wisla Plock, he's going to be leaving in a few days. Marcin Tlozek, a player who came in the last youth intake, currently out on loan. I believe he's left. He has signed for Gornik, but yeah, he's out on loan at the moment. He's alright, he's only 21. Daniel Nowak is another player that came through our last youth intake at Pogon, still technically at the club, but out on loan at Rozovia at the moment. He's alright, he's still only 21. If we were still in charge and we, let's say, force-played him, I think he would be a lot better than what he is. Karol Wisniewski came through maybe Season 1, possibly. In fact, I think it was Season 1. He's now 30 years of age and absolutely garbage. Paweł Michalski actually looks quite good. Still at Pogon, currently on loan at Corona in the first division, but he looks like a very good goalkeeper. Filip Piscori, a player that came through the last youth intake, still at Pogon and actually playing 5 times for the first team at Pogon 2 at the moment, but he looks good. I think if we were still in charge, I'd probably be playing this guy right now. Dominic Sesot, or Sekot, probably not so much. He is a left back. He's fast, and that's pretty much it. Currently playing for Rook out on loan at Widzew. Bartolomei Kolik is signed for Jagiellonia. He's spent a few seasons at various clubs by the looks of it. He's not very good. For a 24-year-old, he's basically not ever going to make the mark, is he? Nathan Kapeluz, a player that came through the last youth intake as well, at 20, still at Pogon, playing a few times, 18 appearances for the first team. He is out of contract though, and it looks like they're probably not going to sign him or give him a new one, so looks like he's going to be moving on. He looks quite good. This guy, however, not so much. Michael Radzewicz is 26. He's a right winger and maybe a striker if we really fancied it. He doesn't look awful. He's got some numbers in some good places and then some absolutely awful numbers elsewhere. Marcel Andrusko is next up, not the one that we force played. He was a right back. This is his namesake, who's a defence midfielder, and he doesn't look too bad. Playing for Gornik, looks like he's moved on and also damaged his cruciate ligaments. Another player to come through one of the later youth intakes is Piotr Robekovic, might be his name, 21 years of age now, playing 35 times for the first team, so it looks like he's starting to break into the starting 11, which I guess is pretty good. I like the look of him. I think it's the mental numbers. One of the older players now at 25, I say older, he's not that much older, is he? But Wajcik could be his name. He played 81 times for Pogon. Was that something we did, or were they all off the bench? They were all off the bench. Okay, I was going to say, I don't remember locking him in, and he's not very good. Another older player is Jakub Mandris, who actually, I don't think he's awful. I think getting game time somewhere else, arguably we probably broke this man because we never played him. He ended up moving on, I think quite early on. Yeah, he did, to Lech for £350,000. And I guess he's kind of forged a career for himself. Alex Bukowski is next up, playing for Legia 2. So he has moved on from Pogon. He's a right back. He's okay, isn't he? He's nothing special. Damian Pelek, a player who I said might be Pogon's number 1. Or if I didn't say it, I meant to say it or thought I said it. And yeah, he's currently Pogon's number 1, technically, maybe. 24 times for the first team, playing some Champions League games as well. I think he's a potential future Poland #1 goalkeeper as well. Anthony Olszewski could be his name. He's not bad. I don't think he's a bad player. At 23, he's a decent, solid defensive midfielder. He moved to Pogon 2 for £6,500. That doesn't make any sense. Lechia, then Piast, and now playing over in still Poland, apparently. He looks alright. I don't mind him. Azikowicz, next up, striker, 22 years of age, playing for Lechia. He looks like he needs some more game time. I mean, he's getting a lot of game time now. I think this is, again, another one of those players that if we were in charge and we force played him, he'd probably be better than what he is, but I still think he's quite good. One of the few players that come through our youth intake that was not Polish, in fact, he might be the only one, it's Amar Masson, who is a Belgian central midfielder who's still playing for Pogon. He's played 10 times. That's it. He's played more than 10, hasn't he? Yeah, he's done this weird thing where he's played actually quite a lot. 8 there, 3 there, and then he went on loan to Pogon, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is all just nonsense, isn't it? And he's 130k loan deal to Pogon from Pogon. I don't get it. Michael Saigan, a player who I actually had quite high hopes for, but he wasn't just quite good enough to get into the first team. He doesn't look too bad. 12 under-21s caps, a couple of goals as well. Playing for Cracovia, getting a lot of first team football by the looks of it. What am I on about? He's not getting a lot at all, is he? He needs more game time. He needs to go to a club that's actually going to play him, because I don't think he's bad. Tomasz Pakshuk is next up, central defender, defensive midfielder, playing 29 times for the Pogon side, currently transfer listed at Water Poznan. He looks alright, he's 25, so he's not going to get much better. Michael Rydzak, it was between him and Ginter for our #1 goalkeeper spot in the final season, and I went with Ginter, and Rydzak is currently playing for Zagreb. Not an awful goalkeeper at all. Robert, we're not going to say his surname because I'm never going to get it right, still playing for Pogon. Has spent some time over in the States by the looks of it. A loan deal to DC United, fair enough. But he's actually a not bad player. Getting a bit of game time, probably not enough game time over 10 seasons. He's played 56 times for the first team. Probably needs a bit more than that. Mariusz Stepien is a player who I had high hopes for as well, but Kamishik was just better than him, so Stepien didn't really get the opportunity. Played 28 times, scoring 5 goals for Pogon, but then moving over to Jagiellonia, playing 140 times in the league, scoring nearly 30. He's wanted. Who wants him? He's wanted by Radomiak, so he's staying in Poland, but he's very good. Physically also really good. Sebastian Wilk, who was arguably a scapegoat for 1 or 2 seasons, he's still playing. He's not bad, really. He's gone to a few different clubs, so I think we sold him to Gornik, didn't we? And then he's moved over to Piast, then Motor, and now Zagreb as well. So this was, I think we played him this season and this season, didn't we? And then he came off the bench a lot. So he did 1 good year, and then we just changed our mind and went with Kamishik, which I think was probably for the best. Mateusz Majrak, next up, 25-year-old central defender. Did we ever play him? He's played 9 times apparently for the first team. He's not very good. He's currently on loan in New Zealand. Jakub Rutkowski. Again, one of those players that I think if we played him a lot more when he was younger, maybe he'll be better. He's not awful. Physically and mentally, he's pretty good. Technically, not very good. Playing for Rozovia. We're still not even moving into the territory of players who I think would be really good. We've got Jakub Wojcicki, who is currently playing for Adelaide. Is that? Oh, it's Australia, isn't it? Is Adelaide? He's okay. He's 24. He's got plenty of time. Dawid Szymanski, a player who I nearly played as a right back, or maybe I did play him as a right back. I didn't. I was going to play him as a right back when we went for Andrusko. It was between him and Szymanski, and I went with Andrusko. And I mean, maybe it was a bad decision. He's got a cap for Poland. I think this is our first international player that we found. He's got 1 cap. He's certainly not going to be the last player to get international caps, by the way. Rafael Matus, next up, 24 years of age, playing for Water Poznan. Looks actually quite good. For a 24-year-old, he's not a bad footballer. Kamil Kolapsi, next up, has 5 caps for Poland, so that is 2 out of 46 players who have caps for the Poland national side. I think he's pretty good. I do think he's pretty good. He's wanted by LKS Lodz. He's gone over to Legia for £1.4 million as well. Did break into the Pogon first team for a season before he got moved on. Mateusz Wolski, one of the players that we locked in for a considerable amount of time playing for Rakow, did not get a Poland cap, still has a bit of time, but I realistically don't think he's ever going to get one. Now 29 years of age, still pretty good, wanted by Lodz and Legia. Kolodziej, the perennial player who never got a chance for us because he was a left-sided player and we had really good left-sided players. He's rubbish. He's just fast. That's all he is. He's just fast. Marcel Andrusko has 1 Poland cap to his name, so that is 3 out of 46. He's not very good. We played him for 2, maybe 3 seasons. Maybe 4 seasons. Oh, that's not good, is it? I think it was 2 seasons. Surely we only played him for 2 seasons. Yeah, that was the last one. And then he kind of was in there on merit. He wasn't very good. Didn't get much better, did he? Our number 1 goalkeeper for the final season was Maciej Ginter. And he's still at Pogon, technically. Gone out on loan to Slask this season. He's all right. He's genuinely not a bad goalkeeper. He's definitely a backup, not a number 1. Somebody who came in through one of the last few youth intakes is Patrick Makaj. 22 years of age. He has 7 caps for Poland. Currently playing for AC Milan. He's on loan at Genoa over in Italy. He's gone for £1.9 million. So he's only just moved as well last summer. So he's not been gone for too long. Spent a season playing for Genoa as well. Krzysztof Mucha is next up. Never got a Poland cap. That's ridiculous. He is far too good to never get a Poland cap. Playing over in the MLS in Texas for Houston Dynamos. He's got 75 appearances there. He went to Legia for £1.1 million and they didn't really play him, and then he's moved over to the MLS where he's doing pretty good looking at those average ratings. Piotr Jasinski has moved over, I'm going to say, to Saudi Arabia, now 23. 2 caps to his name, so that is another player with international caps from our youth intake. I'm going with he went for a lot of money. £5.25 million is possibly going to go even higher than that. That was the summer, wasn't it? So we played that season, then they sold him almost immediately. So Jasinski has moved on. He's worth a lot of money. He's also getting paid £120,000 a week. He's not worth that. We've only got 7 players left, by the way. Thomas Castrobala is next up, playing for Minnesota in the MLS. 7 caps to his name, so that is another international. Obviously, we sold him to Bayern, loaned him back for a season, and then he got released and went to Minnesota, and he's been there ever since. He's not moved on. He's kind of survived the weird MLS draft nonsense that nobody really understands unless you're actually in the MLS. But Kostrobala's all right. Prem Goron next up is, I think they've kind of retrained him to be a defender, which is fine. I did say that. He should have been a centre-back. Played a couple of seasons, moved over to Damak in Saudi Arabia for £2.2 million. It's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money at all. Mentally, he's ridiculous. Goron's very good. He's also got 23 caps for Poland. This is the one that I was excited for, and oh my word, he's ridiculous. Tomasz Matasiuk, also playing for Altai. So Altai have Matasiuk and Goron as their centre-back partnership. 35 caps and a goal. We've finally got a goal scorer as well for the Poland national side. How much did they sign him for? £3.6 million. Not enough money at all. Altai came in, spent £5 million and brought in 2 of the best Polish footballers that the world has possibly ever seen. Sorry, Lewandowski. Jan Kmisik next up. He gets 7 caps for Poland, but no goals. For a striker, that's weird. Still playing for Pogon. He is surely a club legend. They might even have the Jan Kmisik stand at a new stadium if they were to ever build one. He is wanted probably by teams in Saudi Arabia. Al Batin. Yep. I mean, he's still good. He's still a very good player. He doesn't seem to have really changed much over the last 5 seasons. The fact that he has not scored a goal for the Poland national side, kind of ridiculous. Into the final 3, and basically, I'm kind of surprised that Zach isn't at the top. I thought Zach was going to be world class. He is obviously world class, but he's not the highest when it comes to world reputation. Zach is number 3, 62 caps for Poland, playing for Al Ettifaq over, obviously, in Saudi Arabia. I think this came actually the final season, wasn't it, for £2.6 million. That was his minimum fee release. We could not stop it from happening. Radoslav Zach is ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. Grzegorz Baniak is number 2 when it comes to world reputation. He is also playing in Saudi Arabia, 30 years of age, 30 caps and a goal to his name for the Poland national side. I think he's starting to lose his technical ability. He's not even that good. He's not really that good. For £2.8 million, we made £7.8 million off of Baniak, which is pretty good. Also, 2 very good loan spells, obviously, when he went to Napoli. So, Baniak playing for Al Fatah, second highest world reputation from our youth intake is Baniak. He's good, but is he really that high? And number 1 is Piotr Goralski, which does not surprise me one bit. Also playing in Saudi Arabia, because that's what happens. It looks like he's gone for 3.3 million, potentially going up higher, which is currently at 4.1. It's annoying that they've gone to Saudi Arabia, but I think you can kind of understand why. I've only got the Polish leagues loaded. So they're not going to go over to like France because I don't have the French leagues loaded. So no other teams are getting good other than PSG over in France. But Saudi Arabia, all the clubs have loads of money. So they're all likely to kind of head that way anyway. Goralski at 29. He's very good. He's surely a club legend as well at Pogon. So this is the list of all the players. Like I said, sorted by world reputation. We've got Goralski at the top. I want to have a look. International. How many players actually got caps? I mean, that's not a lot, is it? 11. 11 of them. Szymanski is one of them as well. I mean, I don't understand how that happened. So Szymanski, Andrushko, Jasinski is there. Kolapsi. We've got Makaj. He's the goalkeeper, isn't he? He's not a goalkeeper, defensive midfielder. We've got Kostrobal, Kamishik, Goran, Banyak, Matajuk and Zach, and only 3 players have scored goals as well for the international sides. Youth appearances, however, we've got a lot. We've got 32 of them, but obviously youth appearances mean literally nothing. Just sorting by value as well, Matajuk is up the top there, 30 to 89 million pounds. I think he is the best player that's come through our youth intakes. Genuinely, I think he is the best player. He's still only 23 as well. If we were to do another 5 or 10 seasons into the future, he would be a world-class footballer. In fact, if we did another 5 seasons into the future, we'd probably have a lot more players picking up caps. Or if we don't have a lot more players picking up caps, we will some of these players down here, like your Jasinskis, will go from 2 caps to probably around 40. Somebody like Radoslav Zach may well be, in fact, probably will be in the 100s when it comes to caps. Same with Matajuk. Baniak probably won't get too many more than 30, but the fact that he's got 30, he's pretty good. Let's just take a very quick look at the Poland side. So managed by former Pogon manager Nuno Espirito Santo, up to 36th, that's easy enough to say, in the world. We've got Brozowski's playing for Ajax, by the way. He's the second best player, apparently, from Poland. If we sort by starred players who are currently in the squad, Matajuk, Zach, Goran, Makaj, Kolapsi and Kamishik all currently in the squad. So Kamishik could still get himself that little goal, which would be absolutely lovely. And we're just going to finish off then looking at Pogon. So obviously we have done 5 more seasons and they've won the league every single year. They've actually won the league every single season, probably by a fair distance. So 75 points there, 70 points. They only won it on goal difference. They won it by 2 points. They're very close, considering that is where we left off. 96 points to 75, and then everyone else is, it's not the best performances. Polish FA Cup as well, they've got 10 of those. They don't have any European competitions by the looks of it. Can we even see Champions League? Have they got far enough? They're getting knocked out in the league phase constantly. Okay, Europa League, I'm assuming they haven't been in it. No, and Europa Conference League, again, probably haven't been in it. No. So, they've kind of not really done much outside of producing some really good players. They do still have Winter. Not that it really makes a difference, but Winter's still at the club. That's also quite nice to see. And if I just sort the Pogon squad by their starting 11, obviously this is based on their last match, I believe. We have Pelek, came through our youth system. We have Kamishik as well, who came through the youth system, who are still in the squad. Masson still at the club, not part of the squad by the looks of it. We've also got Robakovits, also part of the squad, but not actually in the matchday squad. So we've got some players who are still at the club. I imagine if we go to the second team, we've got Gadger, he's still there. We've also got Ginter, Nowak, and Mikowski, and this guy, who are all still at the club, and I'm guessing there's not anyone in there. Let's have a quick look, sort by value. He's come through. Apparently he might be amazing as well. That's going to do it then for our Youth Academy Challenge with Pogon. And I think we've done quite well. I wanted to just produce some of the best players that we can possibly get. Force play them to make sure they definitely do well and they improve enough. And I think we've certainly done that